Creality sent me an email asking if I'd like to review one of their lasers. I was super excited because I have purchased with my own money several Creality 3D printers. Creality has been a pioneer and innovator in the 3D world for over 10 years. So let's see if they bring some of that creativity to lasers. Many lasers, actually, if you look, have the cables removed in the photos on the company's website. Creality has came up with a unique way. Creality included the air pump. It came with the laser. This is something I never thought that I would find useful, but they have 3 different threaded holes that your legs can screw in on all 4 locations. I have always had to have like a board because the legs were wider than what my honeycomb bed was, even though this is a 450 millimeter board and most of these lasers are 400 millimeter. It connects to your laptop or computer with a USB-C, and then there's also a micro SD card that you can load in. So the power supply does have this 4-prong plug. I think that may be so that 2 of these go to the laser and 2 pass through to the air pump. The machine comes with this little block for setting the focus. This way you can set it up here, as it says, for your 1 to 3 millimeter cutting and engraving, 4 to 6 cutting, and then for over 6 millimeter. And the way you do that, say for instance, this is 1 to 3 millimeter, so I want the laser head to be on top of there. I'll loosen up the little thumb screw, come up here, put it down right on top, and now we're set at the proper height. We're going to put the little micro SD card here in the side, and then we can hit the frame button. Now the machine is going to go up and start framing. Now this thing will continuously frame with the laser on very light so that it's not marking on the wood, but you can see where it's at. And that way I was able to slide this up and down. And being that my piece of wood is almost the exact width of the file, it has to be pretty much exactly perfect or it would not line up on the wood. And as you see, we were able to get that perfectly aligned. After it's aligned, all we have to do is hit the play button and it's going to go back and it will start engraving first. And then after it engraves our image, it'll come back and cut it out because that's what I have it set to do. And as you notice, the air light is not red, it's more of an orange because on the engraving, I have the air turned off. However, that means that the air is going to be running at about 25%. And then when it gets ready to do the actual cutting, the air pump will kick on 100%. Now it was difficult for me to get this to trip the fire alarm so that you can see how this works. Now I have a window, and in the summer down here in Florida, the sun comes in the window, and I have had multiple lasers that the sun would trip the flame sensor. Or if I had set it outside while I'm in my shop working and I don't want to have to run the ventilation, you know, the sun would hit it and trip the flame sensor. Most of them you can just turn it off, and so that's what I end up doing, and now I have no protection because once it trips, you're in the middle of the engrave, it's halfway done, and now the project's ruined because that's it. You know, you got to start over. So when this thing triggers, you'll set off an audible alarm. So if you're sitting right next to it, you know, and you're not looking, you'll know, okay, something happened. But on all these other lasers, they just shut the machine down and set the laser head right over the flames. Well, this one's smart enough that when the flame sensor does trigger, it moves away from the flames and then it comes over here and docks. But what's even better, if that was a false alarm, you just press the reset button on top of the laser head, and then after you press the reset button, you hit play and it picks back up right where it left off at, so you didn't lose your project. I noticed that it had this light for the lens. I did not think that that was really going to be a big deal. However, while I was testing this, because I was putting it through the, you know, as much as I could, and a couple of times in the software, I forgot to turn the air on when I was cutting, and all of a sudden I got a red light arrow. Now I was able to hit the reset button and hit play, and it finished, go ahead and do the engraving. Then when I took the lens apart, I noticed that it had gotten some smoke up inside there and was just a light dirt on the lens. Had I left that, it would have eventually put a mark that would have permanently damaged the lens and it would have been replaced. The first thing I always like to do is test out and see just what the machine will do. I ran some glass, and as you can see here, it actually engraved very well on the glass. I went up to 250 millimeters a second, no problems whatsoever. Another speed test on acrylic, and as you can see there, up to 275 millimeters a second. This thing, you know, basically even at 20% was still producing some pretty good images. Same thing here, I ran some slate and all the way up to 200 millimeters a second, you know, really good. We did some metal, you know, again, you know, it just engraves really well all the way up to the max speed. I got some wood. We did, let's see, I think this is some basic basswood. This is just some underlayment we did. I tried some maple. The maple actually looks really good. You got some really deep reliefs down up in here. And at 412, I've probably got a millimeter and a half of relief inside of that cut. Now, Falcon does have their own software. It's in beta, so I don't like to put out beta software. I did some tests, just made up some quick little small tests and ran several of them in their beta software. And this is 1/8 inch acrylic and one pass, you know, I'm going, you know, 8 millimeters or 6 millimeters a second. One pass was able to cut through this, and it actually gave some nice clean cuts. I did our basswood. We're going all the way up here to, what was that, 13 millimeters a second, and was able to cut through this in one pass. I did the walnut, again, about 8 millimeters. This is 1/8 inch walnut. And we have some 1/4 inch maple here, and at 6 millimeters a second, this cut right through this 1/4 inch maple, no problem. So that's all really good. Now, I did not do any processing to these images. If you see my other videos, they may look a little bit different because I have always before kind of adjusted the, you know, tones to bring out to get the best image. Well, I just wanted to see what the machine would do. So I set this up just how the image was. I didn't do any processing whatsoever to it. And this is the grayscale. And as you can see, this entire piece of wood, you know, is burnt in. You know, the wood itself is this color wood. And I mean, it is burnt on the grayscale from edge to edge. And you can see just how smooth all that is. I mean, so, and this is just cheap underlayment from Home Depot. I did the same image, again, no processing, and I just selected dither, and the dither does the little dots. And once again, you can see the fine detail in that image. So the machine is performing great. I wanted to do accuracy. I figured, you know, we got some triangular gears. There's gears all on this side, and we got a completely different set of gears on that side. And, you know, so you've got gears on this outside ring on both sides. You got gears on the inside ring on both sides, and the gears inside have 2 sets of gears that all have to line up perfectly in order to, you know, function. And as you see, that thing works fantastic. So this is a challenge, you know. I'm running multiple different materials, so there's multiple different burns, and you know, if one of them is out, then the whole thing will not spin around. So definitely our accuracy is spot on. And the way I got there was, you know, I run these tests. I've got, you know, this isn't all of them, but I've got these little dots and stuff I'll end up running, and I put the measurements on them, and I increased them, starting with a 0.01 going up, and then I go back through and see which will fit. So in the Lightburn software, I found that if I wanted to cut out an image, like say this duck, and then I can set my curve to 0.2, cut out the image again, and this is not a, I mean, it looks like it was just an engrave on there because it's so tight, but that is actually a nice press fit. So, you know, if you're into inlays, if you're using Lightburn, all you need is a 0.2 kerf offset, and this thing works fantastic. I want to see just what the max this machine could do. I ran it through its paces. I've got this 5/8 piece of board here, cut it off, and I do one pass when I'm doing the max test. Then I got this piece of 3/4 inch 19 millimeter. And I mean, it is a very, very smooth cut, and you don't see any charring on my hands. That's what is really good. You can sit there and just let the laser burn and catch it on fire and burn a big hole through it, but that ain't gonna do you any good. You need a nice smooth cut, and I was able to get up to 3/4 inch. Now this is poplar, and I like poplar because it's got a nice smooth grain. And if you're cutting hardwoods, that's what you need, is something with a nice smooth grain. I did some walnut and some cherry. I had a little project. I was cutting out some knobs, and this cherry, it's probably about 5/8 inch thick. And you know, I did some walnut, and what I would do is run the engrave so that the bolt heads can be countersunk inside, cut the hole out, and then spin them around. This is the final product. So this is a little knob that's going to go on my boom arm for my mic. You know, got a hickory inset in there to cover up the bolt head with cherry. Came out really nice. Really like the looks of that. Now, I definitely like machines that have your home button with your limit switches, and this machine has definitely got all your limit switches. It's got the stop button. I can hit the home. It'll go back to home. I can have a little jig set up and see, like I got this little piece of wood here, and I can just place it right there in that corner, and then I can come over here on my software and I hit play, and then it's going to take off. It's going to go up there. It knows where to go. It's going to do my little test run here. As you see, circle with the square with the circle in the center of it, and that way I can see if those little lines are just right. And then if I put it back in and hit play, it should go back over the exact same spot. And as you can see, it still only looks like there's one line, but it's just a little darker because it went over it twice. So that way you got your repeated accuracy. Now the machine comes completely assembled, and when I ran this, you know, it was I think a 300 millimeter square, and when I put it up against a square, you can see there's about a 1 to 2 millimeter gap here in the corner, which means that the whole machine was out of square. The machine came completely assembled, and so when I'm assembling these machines, I always make sure they're square. So I did not check this one, which it was really simple to fix. There's this rod that goes all the way through the stepper motor and has pulleys on both ends of it. There's 2 set screws on either pulley. You can loosen one side or both sides, it doesn't matter. Those pulleys are actually kind of tight up in there. And I found that by loosening up the set screw, I think I ended up put another Allen wrench on the other side and gave it just a little twist. But I was able then to pull that machine back and made it to where it was the same distance on either side. Once I got that done, then the machine worked perfectly the rest of the time. I then just cut like a 2 millimeter around the outside edge off of this, and as you can see, it perfectly lines up with the square now. Overall, this is a very nice looking machine. Everything on it seems to work very well. The cable management is great. The buttons here are even, most of them are plastic. This is metal, definitely high quality. The laser has innovative features that will keep you from getting in trouble. It's going to save the lens. It's going to protect the machine itself if there's a fire. So definitely this is going to be a great machine that is going to protect itself and last a long time, along with good cable management. The machine actually will cut decent thickness of wood, what you would expect for a 20 watt. If you are a beginner, or even if you're experienced, but you know that sometimes you may not be sitting right here with your machine and you want a machine that's going to last you, I think with these features right here with these sensors is going to make this machine last a lot longer than most, just because it's going to catch you and it's going to fix those common mistakes that happen that normally will wipe out a machine. So until next time, I hope everybody has a wonderful day.